Ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels? You're busy, you're exhausted at the end of the day, but you're not actually getting any closer to your big goals? Well, let's get into it because today we're going to uncover a shockingly simple way to get extraordinary results. And it all comes down to finding and focusing on just one thing. All right, to really get this, let's talk about someone we can all probably relate to, Mike. Mike is a great guy. He's ambitious, he's full of energy, he's got these huge dreams for himself. But, like so many of us, he's about to walk right into a classic trap. So Mike maps out his week and, whoa, look at this thing. On top of his full-time job, he's going to hit the gym, meditate every day, read a whole book, manage his stock investments, learn a new language, and take piano lessons. I mean, it looks super productive on paper, doesn't it? But let's be real, Mike's not a robot. This isn't a roadmap to success. It's a one-way ticket to Burnout City. And Mike's situation? It has a name. It's something I think we've all fallen into at some point. The overwhelm trap. See, when you try to do everything all at once, your focus just shatters. You end up being just kind of okay at a bunch of things, but not great at anything. You lose so much time just switching between tasks, deadlines start creeping up on you, and your stress levels go through the roof. Your willpower, and we'll talk more about this, just gets totally drained, which usually ends with you feeling like a failure.
Sound familiar?
Okay, so if piling more onto our plate is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's this really cool, kind of counterintuitive idea called the domino effect. The whole idea here is simple, but it's so powerful. Success isn't about doing more things, it's about doing the right thing first. When you line up your priorities correctly and knock down that one single, most important domino, it starts a chain reaction, and all the other dominoes start to fall, almost on their own. And get this isn't just some nice-sounding metaphor. There's actual physics to back it up. A physicist named Lauren Whitehead discovered that a single domino can actually knock over another domino that's 1.5 times its size. Think about that. That's not adding, that's multiplying. That's exponential growth. And here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. If you take that 1.5x growth and apply it over and over, starting with just one regular-sized domino, it would theoretically take you only 28 dominoes to knock over the Empire State Building. 28. That's the insane power of starting small with the right thing and letting momentum do the heavy lifting. So if this is so obviously powerful, why aren't we all doing it? Well, it's because most of us have been taught to believe 6 big lies that completely sabotage our focus. Let's tear them down one by one. Okay, lie number 1, everything matters equally. No. Just no. This is where the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, comes in. It proves that a tiny fraction of what you do, around 20% of your effort, creates the huge majority of your results. Your mission is to find that critical 20% and focus on it like a laser. Lie number 2, and this is a big one. I'm great at multitasking. The truth? No, you're not. Nobody is. Research from Stanford actually proved that people who think they're good multitaskers consistently perform worse than people who just focus on one thing at a time. It's a myth. All right, lie number 3, you need to have ironclad superhuman discipline to succeed. Here's the secret. You don't. You just need enough discipline to build a habit. Once that habit is locked in, it takes way less energy to maintain. The habit does the work for you. So, the big question is, how long does that take? Yeah, forget that 21-day thing you might have heard. Real research from University College London shows it's closer to 66 days, on average. The key is to stick with it just long enough for it to become automatic. Next up, lie number 4. Willpower is something you can just summon on demand. Nope. The best way to think about willpower is like the battery on your phone. You wake up with a full charge, but every single decision you make all day drains it a little bit. The lesson? Do your most important work, your one thing, first thing in the morning when you have a full battery. Okay, lie number 5. This one might ruffle some feathers. The lie is that a balanced life is the key to success. The reality is, to get extraordinary results in one area, you have to be willing to be temporarily unbalanced. This doesn't mean you neglect everything else forever, but it does mean giving your top priority an unfair amount of your time and energy to achieve a breakthrough. And that brings us to the last big lie. Lie number 6. Be realistic. Think small to succeed. This is just terrible advice. Big success always starts with thinking big. J.K. Rowling had the vision for a 7-book Harry Potter series before the first one was even published. Your goal should be a launching pad, not a cage. Okay, phew, we've busted all the myths that hold us back. So now what? How do we actually find our one thing in all that noise? Well, it all comes down to asking yourself one simple but incredibly powerful question. This is it. This is the whole game right here. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Let that sink in. This question is like a compass. It's designed to cut right through all the clutter and point you directly at your first and most important domino. So how do we actually use this question? Well, it's a two-part process. First, we use it to zoom out and find our life's purpose, and then we use it to zoom right back in on what we need to do right now. So for your big picture purpose, it's pretty straightforward. Grab a piece of paper. On one side, list activities you love to do. On the other, list outcomes you care about. Now just pick the single most important one from each list. Combine them, and that's your purpose. Write it down and stick it somewhere you'll see it every single day. Okay, now that you have your North Star, you use that same focusing question to bring it all the way down to this very moment. Ask yourself, based on my purpose, what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years? Okay, based on that, what's the one thing for this year, this month, this week, today? Until you drill all the way down to the one thing you should be doing right now. You know, when you boil it all down, this whole idea is perfectly captured in an old proverb. If you chase 2 rabbits, you will not catch either one. True focus isn't just about saying yes to one thing. It's about being brave enough to say no to all the other good things you could be doing instead. And that really brings us all back to you, right here, right now. After all this, I want you to ask yourself, what is the one thing you can do starting now, such that by doing it, everything else in your life will become easier, or maybe even totally unnecessary? And really, that's the heart of it all. It's time to stop letting your big dreams get suffocated by an endless to-do list. Your job is simple. Find your first domino, make it your absolute priority, and then get ready to be amazed at the chain reaction you're about to start.